Tonight on Global TV News Prime, Independent Corrupt Practices Commission denies blocking El-Rufai family access in custody. In business, Central Bank of Nigeria offers 650 billion naira in new treasury bills auction, says deadline. On the foreign scene, Doctors Without Borders says over 700,000 people lost healthcare access in Sudan conflict. And in sports tonight, federal government partners Templar Adrenal for grassroots basketball talent hunt. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agmofwegwe, and here is a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and on Star Times, channel 276. Tonight, we'll begin by telling you the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has dismissed allegations that it denied family members of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai access to deliver food and medical support while in custody. The Commission insists its procedures are guided by established detention protocols applied equally to all detainees. Ubong Usoro has details.
The controversy followed a viral Hausa language interview which a woman identified as one of the wives of the former Kaduna State Governor, Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, alleged that officials of the ICPC denied her entry into the Commission's headquarters in Abuja to deliver food to her husband. She also accused the anti-graft agency of violating a court directive granting family access and preventing medical personnel from attending to the former governor. Reacting to the allegation, the Deputy Director and Head of Media and Public Communication of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Oke Ode, described the claims as false, misleading, and inconsistent with available records.
On the Friday in question, one of the defendant's wife and a housemaid were permitted to bring food to the defendant on no fewer than 3 occasions. 3. Between 10:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. This is documented in the Visitors Register, which records the names of family members and the purpose of each visit, and it is available for independent verification.
According to the Commission, records from Visitors Register show that family members of the former governor had access to the facility multiple times within the same day to deliver food and other items. The ICPC further noted that the woman involved in the interview admitted she had earlier delivered breakfast and lunch, contradicting claims that the detainee was denied food. Officials stressed that the Commission's access control procedures are long-standing institutional measures designed to ensure security, order, and equal treatment of detainees, irrespective of political status or affiliation.
It is important to note that the defendant in question is Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, a high-profile, politically exposed person who has previously served as Director General of the Federal Agency, a minister and member of the Federal Executive Council, and a state governor. Given his profile, the ICPC is obligated to maintain elevated security measures.
The Commission maintains that its protocols are in line with the protection of the rights, dignity, and safety of persons in custody. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
Away from Ubong's report now, the Inspector General of Police, Toje Disu, has honored 17 police officers who lost their lives in line of duty, describing them as heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice for the peace and security of Nigeria. The solemn ceremony held at the force headquarters in Abuja brought together senior police officers, families of the deceased, and government officials to pay tributes to the fallen personnel. Security correspondent Kekalamo Okere has details.
There was grief honor and solemn reflection at the force headquarters in Abuja, as the Nigerian Police Force held a memorial parade for 17 police mobile force officers killed during the terrorist attack in Yobe State. The officers lost their lives while defending the Nigerian Army Special Forces School in Buniyadi earlier this month. Addressing the parade, the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, described the fallen officers as brave patriots who paid the supreme price in defense of Nigerian peace, unity and security. The police chief says the sacrifice of the officers reflects the courage and commitment of personnel confronting terrorism and violent extremism across Northeast.
So today is a very solemn day for all of us. This is a very sad occasion where we have to lose that number of officers at the same time, 17 officers at a go. And at the same time, we are using the opportunity to remember other officers who have died in the course of duty.
The police boss noted that officers of the police mobile force continue to serve on the front lines under dangerous conditions to ensure the safety of Nigerians. The Inspector General of Police assures families of the deceased that the Nigerian Police Force would continue to stand by them in their moment of grief, stressing that the death of the officers will not be in vain.
Really, it's for them to know that we remember them, we feel for them, and then we are going to ensure that we take good care of them. Every necessary thing we are supposed to do for them will be done.
The memorial parade ended with prayers, final salute, and a renewed vow by security agencies to sustain fight against terrorism and insecurity across the country. Kike Lomo Okere, Global TV News.
Well, thank you, Kikalomo. At least 5 persons have been confirmed dead and 10 others rescued alive after a 3-story building under construction collapsed in the Durumi area of Abuja, triggering a major emergency response operation. Kabir Hassan now reports.
Panic and confusion gripped residents and workers around Gadwa Estate axis near Gudu Market as a 3-story building under construction suddenly collapsed, trapping several persons beneath the rubble. Emergency responders, including the Federal Fire Service, health officials, security agencies, and volunteers quickly mobilized to the scene to begin rescue operation. An eyewitness described the incident as terrifying, saying dozens of workers were present at the site when the structure gave way. Officials say rescue operations remained ongoing as efforts intensified to locate and evacuate more victims still be trapped beneath the debris. Speaking at the scene, the Mandate Secretary of Health Services and Environmental Secretariat, Dr. Adedulapo Fasawi, disclosed that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has directed that all casualties receive free medical treatment.
Far, we have been able to rescue thanks to the prompt response from the police, National Emergency Management Agency, FCT Management, and FCT Ambulance Services. We have been able to rescue 10 people who are doing well. Unfortunately, we have lost 5 people who were on the phone. He asked us to take care of all emergency cases free of charge, admit patients and give them absolute care. However, the owners of these buildings will have a case to answer.
While the exact cause of the collapse is yet to be officially determined, the recurring incident of building failures across the country continue to raise concern over construction standards, regulatory compliance, and safety practices within the sector. Kabir Hassan, Global TV News.
Meanwhile, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has ordered a full-scale investigation into the collapse of a 3-story building under construction in Abuja that claimed 5 lives. The minister has also directed that the site be sealed while those found culpable face prosecution. Again, Kabir Hassan reports.
Days after a 3-story building under construction collapsed in the Durumi area of Abuja, killing 5 persons and leaving several others injured, the Federal Capital Territory Administration says it is taking over the matter. During an inspection on the site, Minister Nyesom Wike described the incident as tragic, stressing that the protection of lives and properties remains a core responsibility of the government. The minister disclosed that the authorities has already sealed the premises, while an engineer linked to the project has been arrested.
It has happened, and they've told the Director of Road Control to seal up the premises. We're going to set up a panel to really look at what really happened and then one of the engineers have been arrested. From there, we'll get to the developer, and the developer will also be arrested.
Wike also announced the constitution of a panel to investigate the cause of the fall and determine possible violation of building regulations. He warned develop against obstructing officials responsible for monitoring construction activities, emphasizing the need for compliance with approved standards, soil testing, and the use of quality materials.
Developers should allow government thoroughly to supervise whatever construction that is going on. Nobody would want to make policy that will retard development. But again, we know that when you are constructing buildings of this nature, the lives of the people is very, very important. Very, very important.
The collapse, which occurred on Saturday in Durumi area near Gudu Market, has renewed concerns over building safety, regulatory enforcement, and construction practices in the Federal Capital Territory. Kabir Hassan, Global TV News.
Many thanks to you, Kabir. Let's turn to other stories tonight. The grassroots mobilization for All Progressives Congress for President Bola Tinubu has officially unveiled its nationwide grassroots movement with a pledge to bridge the gap between government and citizens through inclusive governance and active democratic participation. The unveiling of the movement was done during a World Press Conference in Abuja. Our correspondent, Anieti Patrick, reports.
The aim of unveiling the movement is to focus on mobilizing Nigerians from the grassroots level while promoting greater participation of women and youth in governance. National chairman of the movement, Anthony Aladejo, described the unveiling as the beginning of a citizen-driven political platform aimed at strengthening democracy and deepening grassroots engagement across the country. He said the movement already has structures across the 36 states, the Federal Capital Territory, local government areas, wards, and polling units nationwide.
We declare here, all over Nigeria, all the grassroots in Nigeria, we are ready. This is not the time they confuse all our grassroots. They are telling us some story that is not in the paper, or the story. By the grace of God, any time from now, our flag up is going to take place. This is our brave flag up.
National Secretary of the movement, Eric Adili, noted that the organization would serve as a credible grassroots voice committed to ensuring governance remains inclusive and people-centered.
Today marks not just another political gathering. Today marks the official media unveiling of a national grassroots movement, a citizen-driven political force, a strategic mobilization platform committed to strengthening democracy, deepening citizens' participation.
Women leaders at the event also called for increased female participation in politics, commending efforts to create more opportunities for women at the grassroots level. The movement further emphasized the need for youth inclusion, political awareness, and community mobilization as part of efforts to strengthen democratic values and national development.
And as Niger has started with our local government, we have all deputy local governments as women. Wow. And I urge all the states to emulate what Niger State has done.
So we are appealing on behalf of the Nigerians that our youth should be carried along mostly. Number two, our women should participate in politics.
The event also featured the official endorsement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 2027 presidential election, alongside the launch of the group's nationwide grassroots mobilization campaign. Anieti Patrick, Global TV News.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has emerged as the All Progressives Congress's candidate for Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District ahead of the forthcoming senatorial election. The Senate President has also pledged to attract more development projects and federal presence to the district. Again, Anieti Patrick has more.
The All Progressives Congress senatorial primary election for the Akwa Ibom Northwest District ended peacefully, with delegates endorsing Godswill Akpabio as the party flag bearer. The exercise, monitored by officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission alongside security agencies, was described by party officials as transparent and orderly. Declaring the results, returning officer for the election, Kufre Abasi Edidem, said the outcome reflected the collective decision of delegates across the senatorial districts.
Primaries in each of the 108 wards of the senatorial district have been very free, fair, and peaceful, even as we had just one candidate that have been returned unopposed.
In his acceptance speech, Senate President Godswill Akpabio thanked party faithful for the confidence reposed in him and pledged not to disappoint the people of the district. He promised to sustain efforts at attracting more federal projects, infrastructure, and economic opportunities to Akwa Ibom Northwest and the state at large.
Today is a day of joy. I don't think 100 and something thousand votes. I think 120 something thousand is not bad, and that is just for members of the APC.
Supporters at the venue described the outcome as a vote of confidence in the Senate President's leadership and contribution to national.
Now we turn to Imo State, where the governor, Hope Uzodinma, has secured a landslide victory in the All Progressives Congress senatorial primary for Imo West Senatorial District, defeating former Governor Rochas Okorocha. Governor Uzodinma polled over 230,000 votes to clinch the party's tickets ahead of the forthcoming senatorial election. Correspondent Marachi Ibe has details.
The APC senatorial primaries were conducted across the 3 senatorial districts of Imo State using the option A4 open ballot system, with party faithfuls turning out in large numbers to participate in the exercise. At the Coalition Center for Imo West Senatorial District, Chairman of the APC National Assembly Primary Committee, Williams Kayoda, declared Governor Hope Uzodinma winner after pulling 230,464 votes, while former Governor Rochas Okorocha scored 1,098 votes.
I hereby formally declare that His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodinma, having satisfied all the requirements of the party constitution and the guidelines as well as the relevant laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and having scored the highest number of valid votes of 230,464 votes, is hereby declared the winner of the APC Imo West Senatorial District primary election.
Earlier at his polling units in Omoma Ward 1, Oru East local government area, Governor Uzodinma cast his votes and commended the conduct of the exercise. The governor described the option A4 system as transparent and credible, insisting that the APC in Imo State remains united and well positioned ahead of the general elections.
So it is a good thing that APC has come to stay in Imo State. A good thing that APC members in Imo State have also conducted themselves, particularly giving the open secret ballot, the option A4 that we have adopted, that is very transparent. I think so far it's the freest and fairest elections that have been conducted around this area for a very long time now.
The outcome of the primaries set the stage for a major senatorial contest in Imo West as political activities begin to intensify ahead of the next general elections. From Olu, I'm Marachi Ibe, Global TV News.
Oh, thank you, Marachi. Our former Benue State Governor Gabriel Suswam has emerged the winner of the All Progressives Congress senatorial primary election for Benue Northeast Senatorial District. The APC primaries also produced former lawmaker Francis Ota Agbo and retired customs officer Abia Tesser as candidates for Benue South and Benue Northwest senatorial districts, respectively. Felicity Ndere reports.
The All Progressives Congress senatorial primaries in Benue State were conducted under the supervision of the party's National Assembly Primary Election Committee, with results announced at the APC State Secretariat in Makurdi. Chairman of the committee, Sabiu Mahuta, declared former Governor Gabriel Suswan winner of the Benue Northeast Senatorial District's primary after polling 131,083 votes. Incumbent Senator Emmanuel Udende scored 1,364 votes.
That Mr. Gabriel Suswan, having satisfied the requirements of APC Constitution and the guidelines and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner of the primary election and is returned nominated as the party's senatorial candidate for Benue Northeast District.
In the Benue South Senatorial District, former House of Representatives member Francis Otta Agbo secured the APC ticket with 58,760 votes, defeating other aspirants including Daniel Onje and Patrick Idoko. Also, retired customs officer Abe Tese emerged winner of the Benue North-West senatorial primary after defeating incumbent Senator Titus Zam. Tese pulled 93,412 votes, while Zam secured 2,763 votes.
APC as a party is a party that believes in the people of this country, and I believe that I will be able to contribute my own quota to the development of this country and to provide democratic dividend to
including my colleagues that contested with me. I will seek us to come together and work together.
The outcome of the primaries has now set the stage for what political observers describe as a highly competitive senatorial contest in Benue State ahead of the 2027 general elections. End.
This is Global Television, and you are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. The rest of the news continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories for you on the other side of this break. Please do not go away.
A massive storm system swept across the northeast on Monday night, tracking westwards and delivering widespread morning rainfall across Taraba, Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Katsina, some parts of Kano, and much of the north-central region. Jalingo in Taraba State recorded as much as 57 millimeters of rainfall. Now, the good news is that these storms have triggered a noticeable drop in temperatures across the country, bringing relief from the recent heat and significantly reducing thermal discomfort. And the atmosphere is still very active. Over the next 24 hours, more thunderstorms are expected to develop and spread across much of the northeast, some parts of the northwest, extending to the central areas, including Niger, some parts of Nasarawa, FCT, Plateau, Kogi, and Benue State, as well as most parts of the southern Nigeria. Residents are advised to stay weather aware as heavy rains and strong winds may accompany some of these storms, so you should stay aware and stay safe. That's the latest weather outlook. Thank you for watching.
Well, thank you for staying with us. The Central Bank of Nigeria is offering 650 billion naira for auction at the Nigerian Treasury Bills auction scheduled for Wednesday, marking the second issuance for the month in line with the federal government's second quarter borrowing calendar. The planned auction was disclosed in an official tender notice issued by the Apex Bank on behalf of the Debt Management Office, setting May 20 deadline for submission of bids. The issuance forms part of the government's broader domestic borrowing strategy aimed at funding short-term obligations, managing liquidity conditions, and supporting fiscal operations in the second quarter of the year. Let's turn to the foreign scene now. Medical charity Doctors Without Borders says 760,000 people have lost access to healthcare as a result of the conflicts in South Sudan. Speaking in Nairobi, Kenya, Regional Desk Manager Abdallah Hussein said the charity is scaling up its assistance to the affected population. The warning comes as some global partners withdraw due to humanitarian cuts, with others becoming increasingly outspoken about the country's desperate situation. The organization warned of what it described as a concerning trend to block humanitarian and civilian access to contested or opposition-controlled areas, alleging that all sides were using aid for military and political objectives. In a report, it said the government had prevented Doctors Without Borders from accessing Akobo town, a hotspot of recent fighting in Jonglei State, where the charity supported one of the few hospitals.
Part of the suffering that we see is a mass displacement of the population. For the healthcare, attacks on healthcare that I was discussing about, there is 760,000 people, that's our own estimate, that lost access of care because of attacks on healthcare. But there is also a massive displacement, 300,000 people displaced in Jonglei alone in 2026. Today, one of the challenges that we have are attacks on healthcare. They are depriving, these attacks are depriving care for the population when they most need it. It's a violation, of course, of international humanitarian law.
Doctors Without Borders also condemned targeted attacks in its other facilities around the country between January 2025 and April 2026. After gaining independence in 2011, South Sudan descended into civil war and remains entangled in extreme poverty, corruption, and insecurity. Now time for some sports. The Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Grassroots Sports Development has partnered with Sports Investment Group Templar Adrenal to host a national basketball talent selection event on Saturday, May 23. The event, which will take place at the newly renovated Dolphins basketball courts in Mongoro, Ikeja, will feature more than 200 young basketball players from across Nigeria competing for sports in a high-performance development program. And that's a wrap here on News Prime tonight. Thank you so very much for watching. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and on Star Times, channel 276. On behalf of my colleagues who have made these news broadcasts possible, I'm Uyi Agmofwebe saying bye-bye.